So I am turning 37 this year. And at this ripe old age, I still want to be a YouTuber. Pretty fucking wild, right? Being a YouTuber is for the younger generation, the younger guys. And maybe that's just me staying stuck in my comfort zone. But that's what this video is for, getting uncomfortable. So let me tell you a little bit about my story here. My life recently just got all F-word. In computer speak, that means in my life, I had to force quit the current programming. Nothing that I could really do about it. And so in a few months here, I'll be moving from the UK to the US. And until that move, I have quite the ridiculous amount of free time. Now, you might be wondering, I'm 36 currently, but why didn't I start a YouTube channel in my 20s? Or maybe in my early 30s? Well, the reason is pretty simple. See, I'm what you might call in video games, or the slur that most people use now is an NPC, a background character. I wanted to go through life as easy and as in the background as possible. I'm pretty shy. And so growing up, I used to think that if you were an introvert, you were an introvert. And if you were an extrovert, well, you got lucky in life. You got dealt the hand that I wanted. And so I always thought it was only the extroverts that did these sort of things, like making friends randomly, singing karaoke in front of people, dance when they felt like it, and even at events, these work events or these masterminds that in person, pre-COVID, shaking everyone's hand and telling everyone their name. And relative to YouTube, they were the ones who would be allowed to speak to the camera because they can just sort of, do it naturally. Now, that wasn't me. I was, and I still am, your classic introvert, your fly on the wall. And yeah, I definitely went to parties and karaoke rooms, but I definitely was the guy stuck in the corner or the guy who never left the table. I was the iconic keep the bag safe guy. Of course, I went to family events, work events, connected with people here and there, though it was rare. I never took the initiative. And I envy that guy who would go around shaking everyone's hand, introducing themselves, getting their names, letting people know who they were. And so as you imagine now, when it came to speaking to the camera, I definitely never thought I would be doing it. I most definitely shied away from it, mainly because I thought I just wasn't built for it. I wasn't born with it. And that feeling doesn't actually go away. But once again, pointing out that I am 36, I have, yes, gained some life experience. I've grown at least a little bit. So in this forced reset that I'm going through right now, starting this YouTube channel, I do want to share 3 things that I wish I've learned, and hopefully, if you're an introvert like me, these will also help you. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Minimalism, you don't need what you don't need. So earlier you heard that soon, I'll be moving from the UK to the US, and that's a pretty big move. I mean, I did grow up in Las Vegas, Nevada, so it's not like the US is a foreign land to me or a foreign place. But I've been in the UK for at least the last 3.5, going on 4 years, just long enough to settle into a lifestyle. And as I prepare myself for this move, I've been selling many of my belongings. I'm literally breaking down this computer to sell as parts as I'm creating this video. And there's so much more that I'll be getting rid of. But the funny thing here is that while it's a tedious process, breaking it down, packing it, listing it, I've been finding it very therapeutic. The reason being, you don't need what you don't need. That thing that's been sitting there for 2 years, in my case, 3, 4 years. In life, what we don't realize is that we hang on to these things, these ideas, the people and beliefs that just don't serve us anymore. At one point they did, but they stayed that way. And we kind of just let those things clutter up our lives. In the moment, we don't think it's a big deal. Because why would we? It's impacting us right now. But the truth is, now that I'm going through this phase, it's actually taking up a lot of our mental storage. At least it is mine. And by holding on to that clutter, especially in our lives, in our minds, we're doing ourselves a disservice. Because now you won't have space for new or the improved version of you. Or even if you do, you're gonna take that much longer than the next person who has no clutter to pivot as quickly as possible towards the new things. And when you don't leave any room for opportunity, you lose that potential escape velocity that's needed for you to truly change your life, or even the willpower to do those little things that you've always wanted to do. Like, I don't know, maybe like a soon-to-be 37-year-old that wants to start his YouTube channel. Lesson 2 is about the salesperson and the operator roles. Don't worry, this section isn't about explaining their day-to-day activities, but it's actually about the mindset here. I thought introverts were born that way because you're born with a set of talents, period. And you're one of the lucky ones if you're an extrovert. But I failed to realize that you can just learn the traits of the other person. And the truth is, after finding that out, I was still scared and lazy. That's it. I just had fears and excuses I couldn't get over of putting myself out there like the extrovert did. But then the question became, how do I get over that fear and learn those extroverted quote unquote characteristics? I'll be honest, I don't have the perfect answer for you, but I can share with you a little bit of my experience. By the way, it only took $10,000 as well as me getting increasingly frustrated with my business partner, the salesperson, or in other words, the extrovert, who I only partnered with because he was supposed to handle those roles and extrovert would. See, at the time, cash flow was tight in the business. And what do you do when cash flow is tight? In this day and age, you buy a program that's gonna help you start a coaching program. So that's exactly what we did. And in that process, we began to create organic content, primarily Facebook and LinkedIn posts. Keyword here is posts. As the introvert, the operator, I wanted nothing to do with being public facing, even with something as small as posting words or a photo. But as the operator, I had it all written out. I had the post ahead of time scheduled. I had our content calendar. I had the categories. I had everything that the coaching program taught us to do ready to go. So all the partner had to do was be the face of our coaching program. Copy, paste, and post. But guess what? He never had the time to post or some other excuse. And when we actually talked about it, it turned out, despite being an extrovert, he had the same fears that I did. He also didn't have the courage to be public facing. So in my frustration, 10K already spent, I started posting the content instead. It was already prepared. And over time, I went from posting the written content and images to publishing Instagram reels with my face on it, which proved to me two things. And the first one is super cliche, but it is true. You just need to start, no matter what's holding you back. And you don't need to do it the same way an extrovert would do it. You just need to start messy and do it until you find your way that works for you. And the second thing was, there's nothing an extrovert can do that you can't do. It truly is just a skill issue or a skill gap. Which leads us to our third lesson. I used to be the best lazy perfectionist, meaning on all projects, big or small, I was either a 0% no effort or 100% maximum effort perfecting every detail. I wouldn't even begin to try what it is that I wanted to do, even if I felt I didn't have everything that was required. All the ducks, real or imagined, in a row. Whether that was some materials missing, or maybe my own lack of skill set, or even me just overdoing the whole researching part, the start, I was a 0. And on the other hand, if I did have all those things, I would then go and spend an insane amount of time, even on the tiniest details, to make sure that it was just right. By the way, it wouldn't stop there. I would come back to the project for a couple hours later and realize I didn't like something. So to make it perfect, I spent another couple hours rewatching the same videos, tutorials, and redoing the whole thing. So I would 100% it. Both sides of this are no good, because in the end, I either didn't do the thing at all, Or what should have taken me 30 minutes to do, maybe an hour or so, took me 6 hours. Case in point, when I decided to record my first Instagram story, something that disappears in 24 hours, which by the way had no crazy productions behind it, it took over 6 hours to make. Like, that's insanity. Of course, yes, we all have to start somewhere, and that was something that I needed to start. But it shouldn't have taken that long. And hopefully it doesn't take you that long either to do a 60-second reel. And the thing here is that nobody wants to admit it when you're a self-proclaimed perfectionist, is that you put all this unnecessary time, effort, not because you want the highest quality results for the person you're doing it for, hopefully it's for yourself, but you do all of this because you want to be praised. When you reveal that end product to the world, you want your friends, your family to tell you, great job. And that's exactly how I felt when putting 100% perfectionist effort into things. I wanted to hit that upload button or share that thing I was working on just to hear everyone tell me, good job, great job, that's awesome. Yeah, you put a lot of effort into that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when it holds you back to the point of wasting all your time, or even not even starting because it might be too much work that you're imagining, you're only shooting yourself in the foot. So don't be a 0% or 100%. Maybe be a 68, maybe even a 36. The point is, start wherever you're at. Because what you'll find is that where you're at is more than enough and all you need. Just like, I don't know, someone like me who's a soon-to-be 37-year-old that wants to start his YouTube channel. By the way, if you're new to this channel, I mean, you probably are, because I've only just begun this YouTube journey. I'm D. Cheers, nice to meet you. As you know, I'm 36 years old and I've been forced quit in my current program. So for you Mac people, actually, I forgot to mention, that's Command Q. Hopefully that's relatable. But through this channel, documenting my journey, I really want to share my lessons and mistakes I've made thus far. And to be honest, what's going to be coming along the way, so that you don't have to fall into the same positions I have currently been in, will be in, and will be getting into. You know, save you a little bit of time and hopefully some life. TLDR, technically, I should have started with that in the beginning, but this whole thing is just to say, throw away all your shit, stop being a fucking noob, and just start. Get out there. I'm rooting for you. And if you want to join me along this journey, subscribe, and that will be it for me. Later, nerds.